Infinity Nikki event deserves a review, so I'm here to give it to you. This video will be split into different parts: summary, pros, cons, and loopholes. So if there's any specific part that you want to watch, you can just use the timestamps and go to where you want. But for those of you who were not able to play the event or weren't able to finish the story, I'm going to give you the basic summary of the main story and also what the event provided. Basically, we received an invitation to participate in Roucocco's celebration for her winning the perfect idol. It's like a beauty pageant kind of thing. But other people who should have received an invitation didn't, and our invitation is the only one that was signed specifically by Roucocco, or so it seems, and it's the only one that doesn't have any instructions as to the event. No dress code, nothing like that. When we get to the place, we are immediately called out for not following the dress code, and we are sent to get that fixed. And while we are getting reprimanded, we also find out that breaking rules equals disappearing. When we get to the place that we are supposed to get fixed at, things don't go very well. We basically don't fit into any of the beauty standards. We need to get skinnier, we're too wide, or just, we don't fit. And while that is going on, a shroomling called Labobo is getting punished for not making the correct stuff. He is Roucocco's favorite tailor, and that's why he's responsible for making the clothes and accessories and things like that, but he was not following the instructions, hence why he's being punished. We are able to convince Avenita, the event organizer, to let him go so that he can make our outfits, since we couldn't fit into the previous one. Labobo knows that we are Your Highness. He's basically one of the only people who seems to remember who we are, and he asks for our help, and he introduces us to Celily, who had been outcast for speaking up against the strict rules that are happening in this place. We joined the fan club to get more information about the beauty pageant that Roucocco supposedly won, only to find out that she didn't actually win anything. She actually lost for not living up to all of the strict standards in that beauty pageant. Avenita finds out that we're scheming and tells us that Celily is actually Roucocco. Immediately after that, we get transported and we find out more about Celily and her background and things like that. We go through an obstacle course to get to Roucocco, or in this case Angelina, the other side of Roucocco, and she's very sad. She rejected her imperfect side, her side that wants to be different, and hence Celily became a thing. But even though she's technically perfect now, she's incomplete, she doesn't feel right. We make her happy, and then both Celily and Angelina become Roucocco again. We have a little K-pop group dance kind of moment, and the illusion is broken. The world still exists, but not the rules anymore. And that is basically the story. The end. This event also came with a new in-game feature for 2 different building areas. Spear is expanding, and we built for them a drink shop and a bath place. You can decorate those places, you can put stuff down, you can upgrade those shops, and you can manage them. Manage. That is the summary. So let's now get into our pros. I absolutely loved the aesthetic of this event, all of the candy and just sweet and pink and glittery stuff. That is totally my vibe. It's like this event was made for me. Just so you have an idea, this is the notebook that I am currently using to write stuff about YouTube. This is where I plan my videos and write my scripts. So you have an idea of what my aesthetic is. So this is totally my aesthetic. This event won me over just because of that, basically. The minigames were all fun. I liked all of them. I enjoyed playing all of them through to the end. I liked going down the slide. I liked matching the shroomlies by their colors or counting them and stuff like that. I really did enjoy all of the minigames. And the side quests were cute, and they didn't feel too repetitive. In some of the previous events, it felt like you were doing the same thing over and over again, but in this one they all felt unique, and obviously they contributed to the main story. Now, the cons. The world was incredibly small, there wasn't much exploring that you could do, and there were 0 collectibles. I don't even need new Wimp Stars or essences or stuff like that. There was just nothing to collect. I couldn't even try to catch much the bumblebees that were there, just no collectibles whatsoever. I also did not like very much the new drinks and bath thing, the construction stuff. It's yet another daily thing that you have to do with new currencies that don't actually give much to your game. This is kind of me revealing myself a little bit, but I haven't actually gone to my house in Infinity Nikki for a very long time. It's been months maybe, because I just got tired of having to spend time planting and fishing and collecting to get basically nothing. Like, of course you get something, but it wasn't really worth it for me because I have a limited amount of time that I can spend playing, and I was just wasting my time basically taking care of my house. So this new thing, it's a repetition of that. It feels like they're giving you control over something, but you have no control. You just have to make stuff and put them there and try to collect the currency. It's just one more thing to make you spend time in the game, and I really didn't like it very much. And also, at the beginning of this event, the music in that area was really scary. It's the music for that region before, obviously, where it's kind of like, oh, this undiscovered territory, there's like old dragon bones and like stuff like that, so I understand why the music was like that before. But when you were trying to build stuff and expand your shop or whatever, it was just that scary music in the background and I didn't really want to stay there very much. But afterwards they did update it with a new song, and that was a banger. I loved listening to that song. I was just like dancing around to it every time I was there. So I guess it's a pro that turned into a con. Now to the loopholes. You have no idea how many there are. I wrote these down randomly. I really don't know how I'm going to tie these together. These are loopholes regarding the main story, regarding the script, basically. So after we receive the invitation, we have to go through a guard to get to the teleportation thing. Who is this guard? Is he in on what's happening inside there for the celebration? Because he says, oh, you have to wait a little bit because the event is not ready. Did he go inside? Does he know what's happening? It just doesn't really make much sense why they needed a guard. I guess because you need to have an invitation to get inside, but I just didn't really understand this guard situation at all. And I will talk more a little bit about him later when I bring up another point. And while we are in this place, we keep receiving some mental messages from somebody, and it gives us headaches and stuff like that. They never really explain who's giving those messages. At one point I thought it was Roucocco, but some of the stuff that was being said Roucocco would not have said. Are these the event rules? But then there's another thing that we receive about the event rules in our invitation. So who's giving us these mental messages that are giving us a headache? They never explain it. When the people are telling us that we need to follow the instructions, they tell us that we need a big bow knot. Keep that in mind. Big bow knot. Another thing, the shroomlings, they act like all who break the rules are given these headache-inducing messages. So does everyone occasionally get these messages? Does everybody, whenever they break one of the rules, get one of those headaches? And that's how they know that they're going to disappear? Because the moment that we get a headache, we go like, oh, and so like that, they're like, oh, you broke the rule, you're going to disappear. Do they get those messages too? They never explain that. And when Avenita showed up, I immediately thought that he was one of the docilists, that he was like the Park Solines, I think they're called. They showed up in the main storyline in Itzaland. Although when I look back at it, I just thought that he was part of them because of the horns. But I do have a conspiracy theory that I will share at the end, so stay tuned for that. You'll see in the beginning of the footage that I'm actually wearing different clothes. I was still wearing the clothes that I had chosen for the New Year's event. So when I realized that, I changed, and I thought that maybe changing to a more appropriate outfit would like change the way that people were talking to me, because they were really talking really badly about me, like I was completely off the standards. But it did not help whatsoever. They still kept talking badly about me. And how the hell would anyone be a fifth of a shroomling? If you take a shroomling and put Infinity Nikki right next to them, she's already really skinny. Even for human standards, Nikki is very skinny, and she almost has like no curves. How could she become a fifth of the width of a shroomling? I understand that it's part of the criticism of like beauty standards and like the modeling industry and stuff like that, but it's just completely unbelievable, and it's like, it's laughable. laughable. It's so laughable that it just takes you out of the story. And also, my outfit is not too dazzling. Do you see what I'm wearing? I'm literally all glitter and gems. I sparkle more than the snow or the cream or whatever is in this realm. Like, come on. And then they say that they have the biggest bow knots. Keep that in mind again. Remember we talked about big bow knots? They say they have the biggest bow knots. Keep that in mind. I also see no point in going down the slide as training. They sent us to go down a slide and to get a quiz about the rules. The quiz I understand because you're supposed to conform to the rules, whatever. But going down the slide, is that to make us lose weight? I have no idea. And look at these damn bows. They tried to put this on us. They're hair clips. What do you mean hair clips don't fit? Just stick them onto your hair and you're good to go. How can bows be the wrong size? Were they supposed to be like bras or something and that's why they couldn't fit? It really makes no sense. And look at the bows that everybody else is wearing. These bows are 100% different. Remember they mentioned that you have to wear big bows. They said that they have big bows to put on us. And then they come up with these puny stuff that doesn't fit. I really just don't understand what's going on here and why they decided to do this. Another thing, why is there a fan club? Isn't this place all just a huge fan club? Just certain people got invitations. So this is already kind of like a fan club. Is there some kind of elite group of people in this place that just deserve to be called fans more than others? Or are maybe some people there that aren't really celebrating Roucocco? They're actually not that big of a fan of Roucocco? I don't understand. And we have a conversation with a shroomling that's called Careful Shroomling. And she still remembers Nikki. She still calls Nikki as Your Highness. Did she come there recently? How long has this thing been going on for? Why is she the only one besides Labobo who remembers us? They do mention afterwards that this is kind of like a machine where everyone is just a cog inside of the machine. So why is it that some people don't fit into that machine? They put this shroomling there, but then they don't explain why or how. Avenita, when he is punishing Labobo, he says that he wasn't making the unified accessories. And then when he's talking to us, he says that there is ample amount of makeup and outfits at the makeup place. These two things cannot coexist. Even if all of the stuff they have is one size fits all, there should not have been a problem with the bows. If you have enough of everything, and if everything is unified, so that means it's one size fits all, how could it not fit? And also, you take that into consideration, there should not be different standards for humans and shroomlings as they mentioned before. Just lots of contradicting stuff. And then you say stuff like largest bow knots. What the hell is on your head? There is no explanation as to why Labobo still remembers us and calls us Your Highness while everybody else doesn't except that one shroomling. It's never explained and it has nothing to do with how much time he's been there, like I had thought about the other shroomling. He seems to have been there since the beginning. He's definitely gotten punished a bunch of times and he knows what has happened before. So it's not about time. What is it about then? Why does he remember? And then he says that, oh, let's make your shrimp cap or whatever. And he says, oh, will you help me choose? I thought, oh, nice, we're gonna be able to choose our own bow. We're gonna be able to choose how it looks like. But no, all we get to do is click on the screen for the 3 things that they want us to find. Why give the illusion of choice? So instead of saying, can you help me make the bow cap? Why don't you say, oh, I can't find my fabric. Can you help me find it? That would have made much more sense, at least in my opinion. There's also no explanation to Celily's magic. She just has it for some reason. Does that mean that Roucocco has magic since she's part of Roucocco? But they never explain it. And in regards to the fan club lady, I actually love her. I love her shroom cap. It's just really cute. But she's not wearing the bow knot. Everybody's wearing the same one. Pink and kind of like transparent-ish. She's not wearing it. She has a thing tied to her head that could look like a bow, but it is not the bow. Why? Explain. And then when Avenita finds us talking to Celily, Nikki goes, "How did you get here? It's Labobo's workshop, and it's literally right next to the makeup center. What do you mean, how did you get here? It's not like we're hiding away somewhere." When Celily is explaining to us how she got separated from Angelina, and that's why Roucocco became two different things, she says that it was because of the standee. There is no explanation as to why the standee wanted Roucocco and how it split her. What does the standee have to gain from this? Stay tuned for my conspiracy theory. And when we have to get inside the Grace Hall, or whatever that place is called, the instructions for the quest say that you need to use the ability first. But if you go according to the dialogue when you talk to the guard, you're technically supposed to show the cake, aka use the ability, at the end of the conversation, not before. So I don't know why they did it like that. And lastly, where the hell did the Shroomlings go? They talked about Shroomlings disappearing. Once they start breaking the rules, they started disappearing. Where the hell did they go? Is this like an El Dorado situation where they get chucked off the side of a cliff into the abyss, basically? But if it was an El Dorado situation, then that means they would come out the other side. Like I had guessed before, they would come out the other side, and then they would be able to tell people like, "Hey, there's something suspicious happening in this place. Let's go end this." So where did they go? They did just stop existing? What happened? And this is where my conspiracy theory comes in. Now, this is literally just my brain working. This has not been confirmed. I have not found any information about this. This is just my brain. So this is not canon. I think that the illusion that happened, the standee, Avenida, and the guard, all of this situation is still under the docilists. Hear me out. Yeah, Avenida is technically a wooden deer, but he has horns, and he becomes human for that illusion. The standee, there is no explanation for it, and it wants power. It wants to cause this illusion. Who wants to control the Shroomlings? Who wants the Shroomlings to live under strict rules? The docilists. I believe that the docilists were in charge of Avenida when he was that wooden doll. They are in charge of the standee. That's why they were able to get this illusion to take place. Even though Nikki said that, oh, it would be pretty hard for this to happen, I don't think it would be that hard for this to happen. I believe this is another strategy from the docilists to try to control the Shroomlings. Maybe not all of them as they tried to do before, but enough people to get the results that they want. And that also explains the disappearings. If they disappeared and they didn't come out the other side of the teleportation thing, they didn't go back to Spira, I believe that they were used by the docilists. Now I have no idea what the docilists want to do with the Shroomlings. We did not find that out in the first increment of the It's a Land storyline. We will definitely find that out when they come out with, I guess, the 3.0 update or something like that. I don't know. But they definitely want something to do with the Shroomlings. So when they have Shroomlings that are not cooperating, they either destroy them or they use them for the purposes that they want. Because in the end, the docilists' wish appears to be that they want full control of the Shroomlings. So if they have people who are not in full control, it's better to erase them from reality. So yeah, that's my conspiracy theory. Again, this is just my brain stuff. It is not canon. But to wrap things up, I did like this event. Like I mentioned, the fact that the whole aesthetic of this event fit into my aesthetic won me over. I enjoyed all the time that I spent playing this event. The loopholes were pretty bad, but the event was still enjoyable for me. Let me know what you think. Did you see these loopholes when you were playing as well? Were there any that I missed? Let me know what you think about this event in the comments and we can talk about it, because like I said, I have nobody else to rant about this with. But anyways, if you like this video, I have other Infinity Nikki related videos, and I also played stuff like Papa's games. I'm pretty sure you would enjoy that as well. But I'm just happy that you're here and that you stuck through to the end, and I hope that I will see you next time. Bye bye!